In casualty there, I was diagnosed as having pancreatitis.
You know, I went to hospital a few weeks ago now, and there was this fellow John there. He was as sick as a parrot, ready to fall off his perch.
The doctors in charge of my case told me, and told my wife incidentally, that there was a possibility that I might not survive.
And he was ready to die. So, you know, I went there to pray for him. First thing I told him is he couldn't afford to die because he was on his way to hell.
I think 80% of my pancreas was no longer functioning. And at that stage, things looked very dark for me.
They'd got a tube down his throat because he couldn't eat, couldn't take any food.
In my neck?
In your neck.
I came to see that it was necessary to rely on somebody else, that you couldn't just rely on yourself.
You see, what I said to John was quite plain and simple. It's time to turn. And when you've got someone on a sick bed, the last thing you want to do is tell them lies. If it's their last day, this side of eternity, you better tell them the truth.
My life up to then hadn't been lived properly, that I should have listened to what people had been telling me, and that I couldn't rely on myself, that there is a God, and we have to, he will intervene.
So I was fairly plain with you, wasn't I, John?
You told me the truth, Mike.
Yeah, I did. And I also told him, I said, you won't die.
I realized as I lay in hospital that I needed to change my life, and I needed to rely on somebody else. I think when you're faced with the situation of possibly not coming out of hospital after a serious illness, you've got to think about how you got there and where you're going.
I said, you can't get into heaven. So you can't die because you go the other place. So you better fight for life, boy. And then we prayed. And from that moment on, what happened?
I think, to the surprise of some of the doctors who were treating me, that I steadily got better instead of worse.
Here was the surgeon, ready to cut him up. That's called an autopsy, but that's not what you want. You know, you don't need a post-mortem. You want life, don't you? And he was really, really sick.
John probably came into the category of 15% of patients with pancreatitis who are at serious risk of damage to not just the pancreas itself, but other organs as well. When I studied John's case notes, it was very obvious that he was categorized as at grievous risk to both life and health. And at one stage, surgery was being contemplated as an immediate possibility. That was the morning on which Pastor Reid came to pray for him. His recovery was quite tremendous. He was on the Sunday being considered for surgery. On the Monday, he looked so much better and so much brighter. We do see recovery, but it's over a period of time. This happened quite rapidly. So one would have to accept that something other than his treatment and his own resources had intervened to bring about the change in John.
Time to change. Hey, God's on your side, but I want to tell you something, John. He healed you, but he didn't heal you so you could say maybe. He healed you so everything changes.
I agree.
So Richard, pray for your father. Lay hands on him. Lord Jesus, we just thank you for your mercy and love to this man, that you healed him. Lord Jesus, turn this family to you in fullness and life. Turn this home, turn this man. Lord, let the word of life begin to flow in all their hearts from this day.